Even Only If, which is part of the exhibition, it's a short movie which I always thought of as a road movie. It's a scene where during the performance by Crousel of Stravinsky's Elegy for Solo Viola, a garden snail is traveling the whole length of the viola bow. So, in a way, the film follows both the performance as well as the garden snail going about its journey. The piece of Stravinsky was composed in 1944. It's a piece that I chose besides its musical qualities, also because it's being an elegy, is a relatively slow piece which would enable somehow, give the opportunity, give the possibility of the snail to carry his voyage without being overly disturbed. In my work, music is not like content, or it's not only content, it's not only how it sounds, but also how it performs the passing of time. It performs on an emotional level. It performs in its full spectrum of emotions that an elegy, and especially this elegy of Stravinsky, is able to unfold, but also it becomes like the trigger of time, or it becomes the conductor of the space. It's both content and architecture. It fills the time with its content, but also it conducts our perception of the passing of the time. The work, Even Only If, is built around a relation, a duality, the snail at one hand and the musician on the other hand. There's also a moment in the film when one sees two snails, as if all of a sudden the viola bow was a conveyor belt. It also brings the idea of the cinema, for an action to happen, the image has to keep on coming to sustain it. But more than dualities, relations, pairs, and even more so the interval between two different things or the same thing are very present in my work, whether it's been earlier on in the work Ravel with two piano players playing at the same time the left-hand concerto of Ravel, or Take Over, where a musician is playing live with a disc clavier, which is a self-playing piano. So more than the duality per se, it's the interval in between that interests me. This interval is the field of potential, is the field of malleability, where things are possible, but for that to happen, two conditions need to embrace each other. Both in mathematics, in logic, as well in philosophy, if and only if is a big conditional statement, which means that for both conditions to hold, each of the two statements has to be true. They have to be both at once true. And in relation, when I chose this title for this work, is that for the whole thing to hold, these two conditions, which are not to start with necessarily related, the performance of the elegy of Stravinsky by a musician, or the journey of a garden snail somewhere, they have to come together in a way that gives its own pace and its own reality to the execution of the music and to what we are seeing and hearing. When we think of a snail, immediately we think of it very often in art and literature, or also in the day-to-day use of its notion, more as an idea of pace and slowness and patience and eventually perseverance. But it's so much related to pace and how it affects our perception of time. In the film If and Only If, and during the performance, the snail is definitely not there just as a metaphor. It's not there just as an appearance, but it's really something which has a hold and puts a spell on the outcome of the performance. The way how Gérard Crousel, while he's playing the elegy, he takes continuously in account the position of the snail. From the very beginning, I wanted to bring together certain lengths to make them match with each other, which would be the time it takes the snail to go from the very beginning to the very end of the bow, the time it takes to Gérard to perform the music, and therefore this is what would give us the full duration of the film. In order for the duration of the elegy, which usually is like 6.5 minutes, and it almost becomes double this time in the if and only if. What stretches it is not simply the slowing down of the music per se, but are also these moments of suspense when Gérard uses certain notes and certain key moments in the elegy to take a moment to encourage the snail to pursue the journey. So that's why I think of it as a very malleable situation where where one condition informs the other, and at the end there is it's a collaboration. It's the performance of If and Only If is a collaboration where there are two unknowns that little by little become known to each other.